The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program, and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRC Media, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
This should be played at high volume, preferably in a residential area.
I did hear that they were coming through necessary media.
Because it's necessary. Necessary media. Media, because it's necessary.
Yes. Yes! Ladies and gentlemen, I am back again, your host and friend Michael DeOliveira, ushering in the necessary era every Wednesday here live on Comcast Channel 95. And if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you subscribe there. I'm going to put it right here. Now, about that, ladies and gentlemen, I have a couple people reaching out to me. In the last couple weeks, I've tried to explain it, but I'm going to just do a brief way to explain it as quick as possible. A lot of stuff's been going on where I personally, who's doing all that editing, don't have the time at the moment to do the special editions on YouTube every week. What I'm going to do, starting either with this episode or the next one, we're going to take it so that I pretty much do like a best of the month. So I'll take the actual clips from the individual shows that I feel are necessary, and I'm going to put them together. And I want to thank my interns right now. We just had a technical issue, but they clarified that for me. But we might have another intern issue that's not this intern. Jake did a great job. He just came in and turned on the TV. But I might have an issue with Kelly. If you guys don't know my interns, two interns, Jake and Kelly, Team JK, Kelly might have dropped the ball, but we're going to find out. I'll explain that in a second. But to the YouTube point, again, make sure you go to the website, www.youtube.com/thenecessarymedia, subscribe, because what I'll do, like I was saying, is I'm going to take the shows, take the highlights, the necessary moments, put them all together so that we get you probably about, I might put on the individual shows each week, but you'll have that special edition for every month. So this way you guys can still get the entertainment you love out of it, and I don't have to go crazy trying to do all this myself. So that's going to be the plan going forward. Now, what I have to make clear, I just put the postings about this briefly before I came to the studio to do the show. We have scheduled to be on the show, tentatively scheduled, is exactly how it was quoted, but we have tentatively scheduled to be on the show City Council President Sean Kadeem. Sean Kadeem's not here right now. Now, this is where Kelly dropped the ball. I had scheduled this about 2 weeks ago, tentatively, and Kelly, I believe, was supposed to follow up. Was it Monday, Kelly? It was Monday, right? Okay, just making sure. So I believe she was supposed to follow Monday, and my understanding was she followed up Monday, but apparently, again, it's been a busy, hectic week, so Kelly did not follow up. So I had to take it upon myself. I had to do extra duties, Kelly, above and beyond my call of duty. I had to go above and beyond and message him today to try to make sure everything's all right. So if he catches this at late notice and he decides to show up, by all means, he can just walk right in. I have the seat ready for him with the microphone. Everything's good. It might be like one of those, if you watch the city council meetings, it might be one of those situations when we got like the captain of Froed or somebody who's just in the stands, or watching, I should say, watching at home, and they decide to come down and sit down at the front table and discuss things because they heard the confusion or conversation and decided to join everybody. So if that happens, by all means, we'll take it upon, we'll treat it just like a city council meeting, and we'll vote to waive the rules, and he can come right in and sit down, no problem. So that's what happened with that. Now, if he doesn't by, I don't know, maybe halfway through the show, I'll just pretend. I'll do a fake meow, and I'll go through the questions I would have asked. Now, also, everybody listening out, or watching out there, I should say, feel free to call in if you have anything you want to discuss about this past city council meeting. If you have any opinion that you wanted to share about City Council President Sean Kadeem, any questions? I have my intern now handing me something. What's this? Aha. Question. Oh, okay. Yep. All right. I'm going to get to this in a second. Leave that. Thank you, intern. Again, Kelly, you got to make up. Jake is stepping up the ball so hard. So Kelly, everybody rows on this ship. That's how it works. Okay, everybody rows on this ship, the necessary ship. But now, as I was saying, if I don't get in touch with him here, say 15 minutes, I'll go through that and I'll go through some questions. But There's some other things we could talk about. I wanted to try to get into a little bit of the national stuff because we did have a big debate last night, but I'm hoping he's gonna come in a little bit, and then I'll save that to the end. So for right now, though, what I wanted to bring up, I guess one of the issues going around, one of the big things that happened this week, I talked about last week, Cityscapes, okay? Which is basically, and I wish I had the prop on me. I might make another one if I have to. I'll do the description. Where Cityscapes is basically Mayor Correa's, Jason Correa's plan to beautify certain parts of the city so that we can, get in tourism, which we always hear the words tourism being pushed. Got to grab the tourist dollars. And so this is the plan to beautify certain areas of the city so we can try to get in some revenue through either tourism, outside business. It's a great plan in theory when you apply it like that. But now let's get into some reality, which I did last week as well, about the fact that we're talking about Fall River. And a lot of people out there, not everybody, but a lot of people out there are considering this like putting makeup on a pig situation, lipstick on a pig. So we have other fundamental issues here. Now, something I was just discussing with my interns back in the back about this, my opinion and what's going to happen and what was shared by them, and I share this opinion. So I'll stand by this, is the problem we have now. I've been trying to think about this. The problem we have in Fall River is, and I believe I also have Donald Trump. Donald Trump mentioned that we're going to get into some national stuff. We're going to get into the national debate, but on one of the previous debates, I remember I had City Councilor Richard Cabacera sitting right here, and I had asked him if he heard about the debate last night, so we still have that quote. Donald Trump said Fall River
has become a dumping ground for everybody else's problems.
So I think that holds true. I don't know if it's across the country, but I mean, I know from Massachusetts, we pretty much have become the dumping ground, one of them. And with that being said, so let's keep this in mind. A lot of the problems we have here are because we're already taking the city's undesirables, let's just say. So, one man's trash is another man's treasure. The problem is the people we have here, a lot of them are considered by the state to be their trash. So they don't want to deal with it. They push it to what they consider as Donald Trump said once again, Fall River
has become a dumping ground for everybody else's problems.
So they send everybody off to the dumping ground. So let's keep that in context. If this is the dumping ground and we have individuals spread out amongst the city, if you're going to take a portion of that now and you're going to beautify it, what is the point to beautifying it? It's to bring up the value, right? So bring up value so that you can entice outside business, outside monies. For everybody who's a fan of the old radio show, the money shot segment, we're going to get the monies from the tourist dollars and the outside business. So we're going to beautify everything to raise the value so that this can come in. So let's think about this though now. So value gets increased, right? So we get the revenue, we get all that coming in, but what happens, so when revenue was right here, let's say, or worth, value was right here, and we had what the state considers the undesirables level, if the value goes up, what happens to these people? They can't keep up. It's too high, they need to cut it. It's too high. So if they can't keep up, what's gonna happen to the people who are already being sectioned here, all right, sectioned, you could say sectioned 8. They're section 8'd here. Where are they gonna go? So if some of these areas the value goes up, they're now going to be condensed. That was the phrasing I'm using. They're going to be condensed. So you're going to take people who are spread out and now just isolate that into a really condensed area. For everybody else who's not in that area, fine. But you want to see crime rate go up? You're going to take a bunch of people who are already aggravated or frustrated at certain things in life, and they're feeling the pressure being pushed around them because whether they want to be there or not, the pressure is real, right? The life struggles they go through, again, whether they want it or not, there's two types, but the struggles are real. So this is what they're feeling there. You're going to put all them close together. One of my favorite expressions is about crabs in a barrel. You put a bunch of crabs in a barrel, the ones at the bottom are going to kill the other ones to climb their way out to the top. That's just how it works. These are life lessons, folks, okay? Nature at its best. So you're going to take all these crabs and you're going to make the barrel smaller. So what's going to happen? You're going to get a lot more violence in these areas. You're going to have a lot more crime in these areas. And it's condensed, so you're going to amplify it, but then it's still going to bleed out. So my theory on that problem, I don't know, I didn't write this plan, but I hope in this plan there's a way to deal with such a thing because it's inevitable. It's inevitably going to happen once you pursue that. So now with that whole Streetscapes thing, the big talk of the town has been recently, the news has come out that as part of this Streetscapes marketing to the city, to market to the city in order to market to other people to come to the city, it also has to be marketed to the city, the citizens, to actually get on board with this. And some of the way this is being marketed right now, what's being discussed is how our mayor, Jason Correa, I guess he took a trip to Miami. He was going to Miami, as Will Smith would say, and he went and did that. And now the question, there's a couple questions. I be completely honest, I'm not here to discuss the fact of how the funds were made for this. I'm not digging, I'm not doing the investigation on this one. I wait for the investigation, and I'll give my full opinion on that. But I'm not doing the investigation on this, so we'll find that out. But just in general, the point to being to going over there is that's Miami was one of these areas where the Streetscapes program has worked. Now, other shows that I've mentioned before, we do have Spindle City Straight Talk with Chip Kamara and CJ Ferry. I've watched a couple of their shows before where I had mentioned last week, I believe, where we had it brought up that now Miami is one of the listed of the worst cities. You know, how we had that Fall River thing go out in the media where Fall River was listed as, I think it was 5th or something. We're in that line. Now, so Miami's one of the cities that actually beat us. And again, you have to take common sense into this. Miami technically is getting a ton of tourism dollars. So it's like one of those other, like with, when you talk about places like where they have the World Cup and everything, if you're gonna just look at where they have the World Cup right there, oh yeah, that area looks pretty. It's a very pretty area. But as soon as you go into the back boroughs, all right, the barrios, and you go to the slums that it surrounds all of it, it's a totally different story. Miami, no exception. You go to Miami, if you're not going to the hot spots, you're not in the tourist section, you're in real Miami. And there's parts of Miami that you better know somebody before you enter those parts of Miami, because everybody else is gonna know you're in Miami, and they're gonna recognize you're a foreigner in Miami. Even, you see what I'm saying here? It's not something you wanna play with. So to isolate that as a main reason to say we wanna do that, there's other factors to take in here. So again, this trip goes to Miami. We'll see if any fruit comes from this. As most of these situations, when they come up, I give them a little bit of time. Unless something egregious happens right away, we give it a little time. Now that might come out with some investigation on this. We might see something egregious. I don't know. Not right now, at least. But give it like a week or so. We'll see if this did bring anything to fruition. But then, like I said, if we get fruit from this, if this plan bears fruit, we still have the low-hanging fruit. Okay, if this blossoms new fruit at the top of the tree, we still have low-hanging fruit to deal with. We still have the undesirables. We still have the people who are struggling to deal with. They're not going away. They're not benefiting from Streetscapes. Not in this scenario. No way. So that's just something to keep in mind with that. Now again, if you have an opinion on this, feel free to call in. Number's 508-730-3222 on any of this. And again, as I mentioned earlier, if you're just tuning in, City Council President Sean Kadim was tentatively scheduled. And I say that because that was literally this was quoted. He was tentatively scheduled to be here. Did this 2 weeks ago, and admittedly, my intern Kelly, which she's just sitting now in the corner with like the dunce cap. I didn't want to say it, but I had to call you out on it, Kelly. She's sitting in the corner with the dunce cap on because she was supposed to follow up Monday. Didn't do that. So see who dropped the ball on this. But if you have any questions or comments that you wanted to throw by him, feel free to call, and we'll go with that. The other thing that was going on last night, we had a city council meeting. Now I had to reassure with my other intern Jake, again Team JK, but I had to reconfirm, I should say, with my intern. I had asked because if you watched the city council last night, the city council meeting, I missed the beginning of it. I have to go catch that later today. But I did watch about. It started I think around 6 o'clock, and I think it caught around 7:30 up, 7:30 up. And they already started to get into some different topics that they're voting on. But one of them I wanted to highlight for this right now is on this Cityscapes topic. Listen, there's a lot of people out there who I've tried to say, I try to get to tune into the show because I try to do the middle ground. I try to cut through the dry and give you just the basics of what's going on and try to make it really stick so that we can give you guys something to actually think about when it comes election time, when it comes not citizen input, but sure, citizens input, but I meant citizen participation in the community. To be informed as possible, which I understand a lot of it's dry. I've had school committee member Ed Costa on, and I've discussed with him, I can't pay attention to these school committee meetings. To me, it's too dry, I can't do it. So if somebody had a show like this for me, I might tune in. But for regular city politics and politics in general, it's the place to be for that, folks, for the easy stuff. Now, last night, as me tuning in to be able to bring it to you, I'm watching, and I admittedly am falling asleep a little bit during this time. I'm tired, so I'm not passed out fully, but I'm getting the eyes closing, and I'm watching. And before I remember my eyes closing, I remember them taking piece by piece the individual sections for this Streetscape program that they're going to vote on, to vote to support, financially support this, okay? So when they're going over this discussion and they're going to vote, what they did was they took what could have been a whole package, all right? So all the streets that Mayor Correa and his administration wanted, this bundle package, okay? Shout out to Comcast, Forever Comcast, Channel 95, okay? If you wanted they were trying to put together their own bundle package, and instead it got broken up into individual parts so that they could, determine how they feel about these individual portions of the city getting individual funding. Now, this is where the tricky part comes in that I don't understand. I remember watching it, and I admit I was a little tired. So as I'm watching it, I get the sleepy eyes, and I wake up, and they're still one by one. And every time an individual one came up, how we want to vote on this, it was a yes. So the vote comes up about this portion of the city. We want to vote at this much money, and coding and all this stuff. Yes. Next. Well, okay, we got this one coming up now. Can you read that off? Yes. In the name of the city council, do you yield? Yeah. Yes. This kept happening. Now again, I'm falling asleep. I wake up, and maybe I didn't know how much time went by. This was my confusion. It felt like maybe I missed something big, like 30 minutes worth of political entertainment, because I wake up and everything was just passed, like no problem. Now, if you're just new to one of these city council meetings, typically in a situation like this, there's some heavy discussion. So it's something that can drag out we've had meetings go past 12 o'clock, easy, where you think somebody's gonna be coming in ready to deliver some coffee and keep these councilors awake a little bit, the sugar levels drop. So you sit there and you watch, and so that's what I'm expecting. I'm expecting at least one of these pieces that were broken off from the package to have caused some kind of a conversation. So when I wake up, I'm thinking, oh, I missed the spectacle. I missed the fireworks. What happened? I must have slept through it. It must have been a half hour. So I come in today to the Necessary Studios, and I asked my intern, Jake, I said, Jake, did you watch last night? He said, yeah. I said, so what happened with did they pass? Yeah. What do you mean? So every single one got passed? Yeah. So now, again, Jake, as Kelly just dropped the ball, Jake might drop the ball. So I reaffirmed, and I asked another source, and source said the same thing. So with that being said, it all passed. So if it all passed, my confusion still remains. What was this about? Why was it broken up if every single individual piece was passed regardless? I don't understand that. I thought this was going to bring about great discussion. Maybe certain sections we could have had valid reasons pointed out for them and others dismissed, which would have been great for River Unity, am I right? So we could have really just kept this all as one package, is what I'm saying. We could have rolled this out, but no, I have no idea yet. So again, if any counselors watching, I'd love that. Since Sean Kadim, and I'm basically saying I can't even actually put blame on him if he doesn't show up today, because Kelly was supposed to tentatively get back to him on Monday. But one of the questions I would have asked, so if there's any other counselors watching or someone who understands this, friends with a counselor, I don't care if they're their cousin, call in. Explain to me why this was broken up, because you had it all, every single one. Yes, 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 yes. Just package it up and get it done with. We have other things we can move on to. So again, no idea. If you tuned in, you saw that. Now, the other thing that was discussed, we had the big charter school situation is one of the conversations happening right now. Atlantis Charter School, in full disclosure, my son goes to Atlantis Charter School, so I don't know how that weighs in, but I feel like I should probably make that clear, just in case somebody comes at me sideways with some weird, if I get like a memo being like, hold on, Mike, we got your son there. It's the only reason you say this. No. So the charter school situation, which I'm also, just to let you know, everybody out there listening, we got two big shows coming up. We have the follow-up to the legalization of marijuana in Massachusetts conversation. We're going to have the continuation of that with, once again, State Rep Alan Sylvia and former Fall River Mayor Will Flanagan, now advocate for such things. We're going to have them both on the show again. Most likely, I believe it was either the first day in November or last day in October. I'm going to follow that up again, because I think it's supposed to be it's the show right before the election is what they agreed to here. So we're going to have that coming up. But also, on this subject of the charter schools, I'm attempting to right now to reach out to have one of the advocates for, and try to get one of the big name people against it in, so that we can have that conversation. Because right now, one of the things also up for vote is to expand the percentage of how many charter schools the state can hold. Now, I'll just give you some couple points on this to understand is that we're not even almost near the capacity. So I don't even know if we're around we're not even at halfway. It's not like we're at an emergency mark where we need to increase this percentage, the max capacity, so that we can fit a need. We still have a lot of ways to go before in that percentage pie before we need to, bake some more. So, but it's coming up for a vote to expand it. So again, it's just up to you how you feel about charter schools, where you stand on that. And I want to present to you that conversation later, so everybody out there who has an opinion on that, feel free to stay tuned and enter, as I say now, you can enter that conversation as well. Now, so last night, part of the other votes was about two things. One was to allow the Atlantis Charter School to build upon, for lack of a better word, they're looking to build upon, to expand their where they're going to have, where their high school, I believe is a bridge situation and something to do with the roadway. So they needed city approval to do such of a construction, some of a building project. So there's two votes that happened last night. There was that, and then there was basically a vote of support for or against the expansion of the charter schools percentage-wise overall in the state. So we had an issue where you had the bridge got voted for, the building, the expansion of the school got voted for, so they were for that. So they want to expand the individuality of the school. But then there was this, like I said, a conversation about voting against expansion overall for the state, which that's what happened. So it got voted, that got a vote of down, no support. So we had a vote to not support the expansion of charter schools across the state, but we had a vote to support the charter school locally. Now, I don't know how that stands with you the viewer. Me personally, there's different opinions out there. I'll say my opinion, I'll put it into context. If they follow suit doing this similar action, I'm going to be with the side of people who are saying you're just being inconsistent. But I'm going to give some slack for right now and say the difference being is you're talking about expanding something here as opposed to let's create a whole new school and whatever else might be going on. There are two differences there. So I understand it, but again, this is what I say for people out there. You still have to keep an active eye, because if it's a trend, right now it's one act. If it turns into two that follow the same suit, you're starting to develop a trend here. So if there's going to be the trend of saying one thing and doing another, saying two things at once, that's a problem. I don't necessarily think that's what happened yet. But again, it's up to you, the viewer, to make that decision. My opinion stands where it stands. I'm making that clear. For now, that's another thing. It's this show. I've tried to be a little bit more unbiased than I would like. So depending on who I have and how comfortable they are, you're gonna see a little bit more gloves coming off on this show, especially as things get heated. We're gonna nationally, we're getting into the thick of things, which I'm gonna start to get into a couple things on that. We're getting to the thick of things now nationally, as far as the campaigning goes, which is just entertainment to me, folks. I don't know how many of you out there were giddy for last night, but it's been a long time since I felt probably giddy about something politically, and I was giddy. I'll admit it. Last night, the build-up, it felt like a WrestleMania thing for me, which it doesn't speak well, I guess, for the intelligence of myself or the nation when I'm saying that I'm actually getting amped up about Trump versus Hillary, because to me, it's like two WWE superstars ready to clash, whether you like them or not. That's what I was thinking in my head. And it turned out to be some pretty good entertainment. Quality, as far as quality of life ensuring for the American people, I don't know, I doubt it. But I really also don't think we've ever gotten that out of a campaign. So again, ladies and gentlemen, if anybody wants to call in, feel free. We have the number 508-730-3222. I'm gonna try, I guess I'll go now into the portion of my show where I deal with a little bit of this national issue. And I also wanna make sure my intern knows, I do want to tie into this, the fan favorite No Flex Zone Award. I'll bring that up in the last, say, 2 minutes or so. All right, I'm getting the okay from Jake. Again, Jake's on the ball today, but Kelly, I swear, Kelly, you're this close to intern shopping, or me doing some intern shopping. They come and they go. Come and they go, folks. Come and they go. So nationally speaking, when I get into this now, there's a couple issues that I thought were hysterical. One, I'm gonna just make a note. I say this all the time. For entertainment purposes only, folks, I'll do this for you. Remember the conversation that was had with Trump and small hands, right? I want you to notice something, because I don't know why nobody else points this out. Now, everyone who makes fun of him does this, but I don't think you actually understand this. His posture, I don't know who, I say all the time, I'm not a political science major. I didn't go to school for this stuff. But I think I understand basics in general with this, and I think I understand basics to human behavior, how we read each other, all that stuff, body language, all that good stuff. His tactic, I don't understand. I got room, I'm fine. So he does this thing where he's like this all the time, and he keeps his hands close. Now, I don't understand, but someone's not told him, inadvertently, that's going to make your hands look small. Like I've had photos taken where, you know, like they catch you in that awkward pose where you're calling out to somebody like, hey, what's up? And you have that other hand that's doing something weird and it looks weird in the picture, you know what I mean? If you do this, I've had pictures caught where one hand was like this and it looks absurdly small compared to real life. But he does it every time. Watch, every meeting. China, another favorite. Listen, folks, I've put it up on the necessary page. I won't hide that either. If I have to pick two, I think we're all going down the road to just hell. The road to hell is paved with good intentions. This time, it's just the road to hell is there, and it's being paved by this election process and in general how people are with it. And I'm telling you, my opinion is, if I have to pick either or, I'm going with Trump for entertainment. I mean, both of them, I think, are going to bring us to the same place regardless. So I might as well be entertained by it while we go down this road. And he's just got the mannerisms, it's everything. So it's entertainment to me. But with the debate, we didn't get anything really that mattered. And I don't think really anybody expected that. We had a battle back and forth. And you know what? I'll go into it right now if I can. Jake Kelly, let's go into the fan favorite No Flex Zone Award of the week.
No flex zone. No flex zone. They know better. They know better.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen, you're on the No Flex Zone. The No Flex Zone is a zone where you do not belong flexing. And by flexing, I mean doing anything you're not supposed to be doing in a place you're not supposed to be doing it. And this week's winner, folks, is going to be split up between two people. I'm just going to be fair. So I just gave you my assessment of Donald Trump versus Hillary and who I technically, it's not support. If you got a better word for it, let me know. Feel free to message me, comment me on the Facebook page, Necessary Media, facebook.com/the Necessary Media. So feel free to comment. I'm going to be honest with you. So if I'm voting for Donald Trump. And not because he said Fall River
Has become a dumping ground for everybody else's problems.
No, which I think is true. So Donald, I agree with you. I understand. But no, what I'd vote for him is entertainment. But last night, so just to show I'm technically unbiased here, the No Flex Zone Award is going to go for two people here. One, Donald Trump's going to get it. And the moderator, Lester Holtz, is going to get it. And I'm going to explain now why, while I got about 2.5 minutes or so. First, let me get to the Trump version, just to show unbiased. This is not me just, I don't have my Make America Great Again. And first off, if I had a hat, it would be Make America Necessary. That's what we got to start doing, folks. Make America Necessary, all right? Look for the hats coming soon, coffee mugs, whatever you need, I got it. So it's going to go to Trump for this factor. When also co-award winner Lester Holtz decided to question Trump about the birther situation and the certificate, Donald Trump gets his portion of the No Flex Zone award this week because his defense, now, and I'm also going to say my opinion on that is iffy. So this isn't me beating him up about the whole birther thing and all that stuff. What I am saying is when he was asked about it, his defense was, call Michael Hannity. I told people call Michael Hannity. Just if somebody wants to call Michael Hannity, call Michael Hannity. I talk to Mike Hannity. They'll ask him. We have conversations all the time. I used to talk to him all the time. Well, he said he'll vouch for me. Go. He's literally using as a defense, call my buddy, he'll vouch for me. Now, that's not a valid defense. You should have had something better than that. If it was me, I honestly would have hoped he would have just stood firm on where he was with it a little more and kind of maybe explained it, but that's not Donald, we know that. So instead, he's Donald, don't worry about it, talk to my buddy. If you want, my buddy will tell you, I wasn't there, I swear, call my buddy. So that's part of it. The other portion of this No Flex Zone award goes to Lester Holtz because, again, this was supposed to be the moderator. Now, was it the worst moderation I've ever seen in my life? No, but it definitely felt one-sided, especially when going for pressing questions. Donald Trump started getting these very personal pressing questions to him, which I'm fine with. My only problem is, where's my entertainment from the other side? Hillary wasn't pressed. You had to have Donald bring up things to press her. There's a lot that could have been pressed on. I don't think we heard enough. So we'll see how it goes. We still got 2 more left, folks. So again, if everybody out there listening, or everybody out there watching, please come back next week. Welcome you here. We're here every week live, 6 to 6:30 every Wednesday. Tune in. And remember, get back at me on Facebook, YouTube, subscribe to the channel. If you got any questions or comments, let me know. Feel free to reach out to me about anybody you want on the show. Feel free to reach out to people about getting on the show. Let's help this thing grow. Thanks a lot, everybody. Have a great night.